Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Central Europe. I hope everybody is having a great week. Hi Marjona, hi Laren, Sunder, Jas, good to see many students already in the class. I'm doing fantastic, Marjona. Thank you for asking. Hi Bakrat. All right, everyone. In this class, we are focusing on the listening section, specifically parts 1 and parts 2. And I'm going to give you some advice on how to listen like a pro. All right, so let's do that today. This lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Check us out there. Join our premium package. It's worth spending a couple dollars. And for the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have 6 original practice exams. We have HD videos, and we have a fully interactive course that's also powered by an app. The app is Academic IELTS Help, links to aehelp.com for academic IELTS, and General IELTS Help links to gieltshelp.com. So get those apps on your mobiles and study on the go. This is our academic website here. Click the big red button to join. We're British Council IELTS Registration Center in Saudi Arabia. Also, we're certified British Council agents. And this is our General IELTS website here. Green background. Again, click that big red button to join us there. We're going to use our academic website today for our listening. If anybody has questions, just send your questions to me by email. Adrian@aehelp.com. Hi, Sammy, Yarabisha, Nikhil, Rashika. Good to see many more of our regular members. We have more classes tomorrow and on Saturday at this time. So definitely come back tomorrow and the day after as well. We have these classes regularly. It's good to join our premium package because then you can follow along better with the exams and materials as well. Okay, so today we are doing our test 2, which is actually our 3rd exam, and we are going to be looking at, again, part 1 and part 2. They don't call them sections anymore. They call them part 1, part 2 from 2020. And I'm going to use a speaker and my headset to play you the audio. So we're going to get right into the listening right away. That's why I've kept my screen a bit dark too. Okay. Hi, Eugene. I love the emojis. Thank you for that. So we're going to get right into the listening. And for the listening, if it's quiet for you, please turn up the volume. And also, please don't put your answers in the chat. That becomes very confusing for some people. So just save your answers on a separate piece of paper or in a separate document. And then we'll go through the answers together afterwards. Okay, so we'll do it all together. All right, everyone. So I'm just going to hop over to our website here for the academic. It has all the audio for us. And I'm going to get into my student account here. In your My Student account, you're going to find lots of goodies like computer-based practice exams, online course. You have printable workbooks, study plans. You have lots and lots of lesson videos. And then here are the audio CDs that I'm looking for. And this is going to be CD3 because it's our 3rd exam. And test number 1. So I know it's a bit bright, but it won't be in a moment. So I'm going to play this again. Make sure to answer on a separate piece of paper, and then we will go through this together afterwards. Now, at the very beginning, when the instructions are playing for the listening and I'm going through the questions, look for the topics of part 2, part 3, part 4 when I'm there, okay? All right, so here we go, everyone, with listening test part 1.
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Listening Section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 women as one of the women registers her daughter for nursery school. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Good afternoon, Monterey Primary, Jane speaking.
Hello, my name is Diane Johnson. I was hoping to register my daughter for nursery school at Monterey Primary.
Of course, Miss Johnson. Would you like to register your daughter for full-day nursery school, or half-day, or full-day plus after-school care?
Oh, just the half day. I don't think Matilda could handle a full day away from home just yet.
The woman says she would like to register her daughter for half-day nursery school, so A has been indicated for you. Now we begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good afternoon, Monterey Primary, Jane speaking.
Hello, my name is Diane Johnson. I was hoping to register my daughter for nursery school at Monterey Primary.
Of course, Miss Johnson. Would you like to register your daughter for full-day nursery school, or half-day, or full-day plus after-school care?
Oh, just the half day. I don't think Matilda could handle a full day away from home just yet.
So your daughter's name is Matilda Johnson?
Yes, let me spell it for you. The first name is Matilda, Matilda, and the last name is Johnson, but it's not the common spelling. It's spelt JonSson. My husband is Swedish, which explains the different spelling.
Right. And what is Matilda's date of birth?
She was born December 25th, 2006.
So she was born at Christmas. That is incredible.
Yes, she was an incredible present to get for Christmas. It certainly was the most memorable Christmas I've had.
Yes, I would imagine. Okay, so now I need Matilda's personal education number, which she should have received in the post recently.
I don't remember receiving such a letter in the post.
It would have come from the Department of Education, and they always post things in yellow envelopes. You don't remember seeing a yellow envelope in the post?
In fact, I do, but I didn't open it. My husband did. He didn't mention anything about a personal education number. Now he's away with work and I won't be able to reach him.
Well, we can retrieve the number. I'm going to need your national insurance number as well as your husband's. I'm going to need your husband's name as well.
My husband's name is Eric, with a K instead of a C on the end. His last name is Johnson, of course. His national insurance number is DF987745W, and mine is KL409115N.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
Right. Okay, let me see here. All right. Here is a personal education number. I will give it to you now so that you can write it down for future reference. It is T56340192.
Just to make sure, the first character is T as in Thomas.
Yes, and this letter in front of the number shows what region the child is originally from. The T in this case refers to Tyne and Wear.
That would be correct, I'd imagine. Matilda was born in Newcastle, which of course is in Tyne and Wear.
Okay, so we have all the information about Matilda that we need. She is now registered for half-day nursery school in September. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. I was wondering what sort of training your nursery school teachers have.
That is a very good question. Each of our teachers has, at a minimum, a 2-year diploma in early childhood education. Many of our senior staff have bachelor's degrees in education in addition to the 2-year diploma, and our departmental head, Miss Janet Roth, has a postgraduate certificate, bachelor's degree and diploma. Do not worry, Miss Johnson, your daughter Matilda is in very good hands.
That makes me feel a lot better. Can you tell me when the first day of school is? And also, will there be an orientation day for new students and parents?
The first day of class is the 5th of September, and yes, we do have an orientation day. It takes place on the 3rd of September from 9 to midday. Parents and children are strongly encouraged to attend.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, everyone, and then check your answers in that half minute. It's super important to do that because oftentimes students save a couple of marks by doing that. So let's go through the answers together. Just before we do that, let's see who was paying attention. What were the topics for part 2, part 3, and part 4? So again, I used the instruction time. Now there's no example anymore in IELTS listening. Okay, so careful about that. But you still have some instruction time, so you can look at part 2, part 3, and part 4. So you want to use that time to figure out what are the topics there, so it's a little bit easier to focus and listen for the information once you get there. So what was part 2? Uma and Surya says part 2 is something about a university's building. Kashirsha says it's a university schedule, something about the pharaohs and Isaac Newton. Very good. Okay, so part 2, yeah, university buildings, something like that. Okay, sure. All right. Very good job, BJ. Nicely done on that band 7 and some solid scores all around. Good job. Congratulations. Part 3, what was that about? Okay. Bakrat says it was something about Egyptians and taxes. Surya says Egypt, taxes. Sure, Egypt, taxes. Okay, that's good. And part 4, what was part 4 about? Bakrat says part 4 was about Newton. Yeah. Newton, the famous scientist. Most people know of Newton, I'm sure. He's a famous British scientist. The father of the theory of gravity. Okay, great. So now we know that we can expect these topics for the next parts, and our brain is kind of moving around and focusing on those ideas, searching all of the information that it knows about those ideas, which is great. All right. So let's cut back to the top here to part 1, and let's answer some questions. So this was the example. For many, many years, they had examples like this. For some reason, they realized that it's not necessary. I'm not sure why. Maybe it just confused a lot of students as well. So here we have a woman registering her daughter for a half day of nursery school. And in the beginning, she spells her daughter's name and then explains why that is with the nationality. So what is the woman's husband's nationality? What's the correct answer there? B. Yeah, he's Swedish. Now, for multiple choice questions, you're always listening for the answer. So listen for the answer. Do not stare at the choices. Okay. So how many of you, and be honest about this, so how many of you, when you're doing multiple choice questions, in the listening, you're like staring at the choices and listening to see which one's going to like jump off the page and be like, that's the one they said. Okay, how many of you do that? Okay, and be honest, I'm just curious if people do that or if it's just in my brain that people do that. Maybe it's just in my brain. Maybe nobody actually does it. I don't know. But I think a lot of students do. And it's not good. Yeah, so Patel, Surya, thank you for being so honest. Nadia, thank you for being so honest. So staring at the choices is not good. With the simple ones like this, it sometimes works, but it's not a good idea because often there's confusing information and they're paraphrasing the information. Like they'll do something like the woman will say, well, I'm Swiss, but my husband is Swedish. And then you're staring at this and you'll be like, okay, what was it now? So it's Swiss or Swedish? So you really have to just listen for the answer more than just stare at the choices, okay? That can really mess you up. So be very careful about that, okay? The correct answer here was B, okay? So remember what I said at the beginning, the title of this lesson? The title of this lesson is Listen Like a Pro. It's the white here. Listen like a pro. And pros, when they're listening for the answers, not staring at the choices, okay? All right, how is a child's personal education number normally received? By post, by email, or picked up from the school? So again, this was really clear. Okay, Emmeline, the way to prevent confusion is exactly what I just said. So it's by listening for the answers rather than staring for the choices and thinking about the question of the multiple choice. Okay. Don't write with italics, Emmeline, because the chat will filter that, okay? So, Yarabisha says, by post, Marjona, honey, agree. Yeah, she very clearly says it's sent by mail, I think. Okay, I mailed them out. So again, here was an example. I don't actually think she says post until later. She says you should have received it in the post. I mailed it, is what she said first. So they paraphrase it, okay? I mailed it, and if you're staring at the choices, then mail is actually here, but that would be wrong because it's not email, it's just regular mail, so it's post. So you have to be careful. This is why staring at choices is a dangerous approach, okay? You want to avoid that. So, all right. Let's keep putting along. Here we go. Question 3. Why is the husband out of town? Vacation, work, or family reasons? Why is the husband not there? Because the husband probably got the letter, right? And doesn't know what the letter, or where the letter is. Yeah. It's a yellow letter. 3 is B, it's work. Yeah, the woman says he's away with work, right? Vacation, I mean, probably would have taken the family as well. Family reasons, maybe. But work is the correct answer, so B. So you put B in your answer sheet, and then you move on. Okay. All right. Number 4. Now, this is a multiple choice. This is where it's a good idea to just kind of maybe take some notes. And also logic. Okay. So note-taking plus logic equals correct answers. All right. So here you had to choose 3. It's just one question. It's number 4 in your answer sheet. So you have to have a number, comma, or sorry, a letter, comma, another letter, comma, and then another letter. And you have to choose 3 of these. Okay. Marjona says it was C, D, and F. Okay. Yeah, in any order. And those are correct. So C, D, and F. Okay. That makes sense because national insurance number, and the husband's name. The reason E is no is because the woman already gave her name. So they have her name already. Personal insurance number, you would not share that. Okay. you would never share with others. Okay? That's why it's your personal insurance number. Your personal insurance number is just for you. Okay? Onisim, yeah, here, if you get any one of them wrong, so this way it's correct, but if you get any one of them wrong, like if you write, for example, A here, then the whole thing is wrong. Yeah. So here you have to have all three correct. You have to have C, D, and F to pick up the score. There's no half scores, okay? If it's worth more than 1 point, then you can get points for each correct answer. But in this case, it's all just one question. So no partial points or no point if it's 2 out of 3, nothing like that, okay? It's not good enough, okay? All right, so how is the husband's name spelt? How do you spell the husband's name? E-R-I-C-K, E-R-I-C, E-R-I-K. These are all spellings of Eric. So how is it spelt? Sammy says A with a C-K. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Sammy. It's spelt with, as Eric, with a K, right? So it's spelled with a K. And the correct answer is C. Now, if you don't know why, check the transcripts. Okay? That's what you have to do, is check your transcripts if you're not sure. All good IELTS books should include transcripts for the listening. We have that, of course, on our website or in our books. So we hop to the back of the book. Oops, it's not the right one. You're going to see the answers there. So let me get out of that. 132. Let me get back here. Okay, let me find the transcripts here. I think it's on, okay, maybe here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let me show you the transcripts here. That was actually not the right answer key, but anyway, so here it is. Okay. All right, so there's Diane. Okay, so Diane, so these are the transcripts at the back of the book, and the answer's highlighted for number 5. So hopefully you can see that. I'll make it a bit bigger. Here we go. My husband's name is Eric with a K instead of a C on the end. Okay, so you had to catch that. So you know that because of this here, it's Erica, K instead of a C. Okay, now you know that's the correct answer. You can be sure about it. And ends with a K instead of a C. Okay? Everybody got it? So she makes that very clear. And she says it's because he's Swedish. Okay? It's spelled differently. All right? So if you don't know, what do you do? What do you do if you're not sure when you're doing practice exams at home and you're not sure why that's the answer? What do you need to do? I need you to spell it out for me. Write it into the chat, because you should always do this because it's how you improve your listening. Okay? So what do you do? If you don't know the answer, you have to do what? Check the transcript, Surya. It's not logic here. Check the transcript. Yeah, that's right, Ardia. Yeah, Carolina, see the transcript. Not try to guess why, okay? Check the transcript. Trying to guess why, it's not really going to work on the IELTS, I'll be honest with you, okay? So, check the transcript. Okay, so you had a little bit of a break, and then on with 6 to 10, okay? Yeah? Okay, so here we go. What is Matilda's personal education number? Now, here they spell it out. Sometimes you have to actually write it down, so be ready for that. Here it was a little bit easier. You get a multiple choice. A, B, or C. The difference is T, P, and P instead of a 3 and a 3, right? So which one was the correct one? You have to listen for it carefully. Yeah, it was A. And the woman even says, was that a T as in Thomas? So you know it's got to be A or C. There's no other letter. So it's just the first one was a letter. The rest was all a number. So the correct answer was A. Very good. Okay, excellent. Nicely done. All right. And then they explain why. So how that number actually works. The T is for Tynan Weir. Where was the child born? Which city? A, B, or C? Jas says 6 is A. Okay. 7. Honey says 7 is also A. Yeah, Newcastle. Yeah, the mom says, that makes sense. My daughter was born in Newcastle, which is in Tynan Weir. So this was A and A. Very nice. Okay, and then here you had another one of those multiple choice where it was 2 choices. What 2 qualifications do many, you have to really pay attention here, of the nursery school senior staff have? 1-year diploma, 2-year diploma, 3-year diploma, master's degree, bachelor's degree, doctorate degree. So you had to choose 2 here. Yarabisha says it was B. And then E, a lot of people agree. 2-year diploma and a bachelor's degree. Yeah, and that's very common, right, for that. Again, logic will help you here because if you think about nursery schools in the UK and in Canada, most nursery school teachers and staff have a bachelor's degree. It's very rare now for these kinds of jobs for someone to even just have even a 2-year diploma is getting quite rare for this. But yeah, some people still have a 2-year diploma. Bonus question. What does the nursery school head teacher or the principal have? Which one of these? A doctorate degree, a 3-year diploma, master's degree, or a 1-year diploma? Bonus question. That they talk about that as well. So check your active listening. Irfana Ilyas says a master's certificate, right? Very specifically. She says, has a master's certificate. Okay, good. Yeah, so master's. Yeah, excellent. All right, so yeah, so here in your answer sheet, basically all you do for number 8 is you put B, comma, E, and you get that one correct. I like using capital letters, not small letters. I find using capital letters is just a lot clearer, especially when the indications are capital letters as well. Why not? Stay in the same format. Makes it less confusing for everyone, and it's just easier to mark, especially on the paper-based exam. Okay, here we had some short answers for 9 and 10. Complete the notes below, write no more than 2 words. Here you have to listen for the answer. There's no more choices going on here. First day of class. When does class start? Yeah, September 5th. So September 5th, Sept 5. That's what I would do. Okay. Sep is okay. Sept is more common. If you write Sep, it's fine. Sept is more common. It's a more common abbreviation to add the T. Okay. So Sept 5. All right. 5th Sept is okay as well. Make sure you have good spelling. They'll take an abbreviation like that. Okay. Orientation is on the 3rd from 9 to midday. Okay. And somebody and children should attend orientation. So what's the last one? Yarabisha, Honey say, it's going to be parents. Brown agrees. Yeah, I mean, probably don't send your 3-year-old child alone to nursery school to go to orientation. So parent, okay. Children is plural. Okay, so you have to have plural for parents as well. If you write parent and children, it's wrong. Okay, so parents. All right. Okay, good. Now, just a quick question before we do part 2. How many did you get correct from 10 here? Okay, your goal should be, well, I would say 9 or more or greater. 8 is okay, but I would say 9 or more. Okay, Brown, 8, not bad. Sure, yeah, 10 is fantastic. 9 is good. Okay, 9 is solid. Part 1's the easiest, so you really got to be as good here as possible. You don't want to lose marks, okay? If you've lost a mark, if you're 9, then you cannot lose any more marks to get a band 9, okay? Basically, that was your one free lose a mark for a band 9 if you lost one here for the entire listening, okay? So 39 out of 40 and 40 out of 40 is a band 9. So if you lost 1 mark in part 1 and you're going for a band 9, that's it. If you're going for a band 8.5, you can lose, I think, 2 more, okay? All right? So careful. Sandeep 7, you got to work on it a little bit, okay? So you got to really do well in part 1. Okay, everyone, so that's how listening works. Let's get into part 2. Now, everyone who was here from the beginning knows that part 2 is something about a university and some buildings. So we're getting ready to listen to something about a university and the buildings. Again, I'm using my headset and my speaker for this. So if it's quiet for you, turn up the volume. And don't put your answers in the chat, okay? Because then it confuses others, especially if you give them wrong answers. So be nice. Put your answers into a separate sheet, okay? And I promise you we will go through the answers together at the end, okay? So here we go, everyone, with part 2 of listening, okay? Part 2 of listening. Here we go.
Now turn to section 2. Take some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening section 2. You will hear a recording of a university campus tour. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you're here for the university campus tour, you're in the correct place. There are 2 purposes for this tour. For prospective students, you get to see the campus where you may be studying in a few months, and you get to learn some interesting information which may convince you to look favourably on our university. For parents, you get to learn what life is like at this university, so you know where you are sending your kids off to this autumn. Before we start the tour, I'd like to give you some background information. This university was originally opened in 1686, although from 1745 to 1805 it was shut down due to a lack of funding. The university is composed of 23 buildings which were built in one of 3 periods. There were 4 original buildings in 1686, a dozen more buildings were constructed in the period from 1805 to 1815, and the final 7 buildings have been added in the past 10 years. So there is a fascinating mix of 17th century, 19th century, and quite modern architecture. The first building we are going to look at is called the Prescott Building, named after the university's first chancellor, William Chester Prescott. As you can probably tell, this is one of the university's original buildings completed in 1686. The building is actually quite unique in shape. It is approximately 40 metres long while only 8 metres wide. It also has these interesting circular areas attached to each corner, 4 of them in all. These 4 circular areas each house a large bell. None of the bells work today, however. As we walk in the door, I'd like to point out all of the beautiful Persian carpets on the floor. These carpets were donated to the university by a former student almost 150 years ago. It is very common for former students who have done well in life to give back to the university. Some give money, some give land, some give gifts such as Persian carpets. One former student even gave the university his pub after he died. By the way, that pub, which is located at the intersection of 3rd Street and Pine Avenue, gives students of the university a 30% discount. Now, if that's not a selling point for this university, I don't know what is. On a serious note, it is our outstanding education which makes our university a top competitor on the global front.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
Before we go any further, are there any questions? No? Right then. Next we are going to visit the university library. As you see in front of the library, there is a beautiful fountain which shoots water high up in the air. Once again, the funding for the fountain came from a former student, in this case a well-known artist. It was constructed just 15 years ago at the cost of £50,000. As we step into the library, I think what you'll notice at first is the fact there are no books. Indeed, there are no books at all on the entire ground floor. On the 5 upper floors, however, there are over 3 million books. The library's collection has been built over time through private donations, gifts from former students, as well as university purchases. There is also a special collections area where there are original works dating back to the year 1588. Next on our itinerary is a visit to the sporting facilities. Here at the university we have over a dozen different facilities for almost any sport you can imagine, ranging from football and rugby to tennis and squash to archery and cricket. Our rugby team has won the national championship 3 out of the last 5 years. As you'll see on your left is a famous wall where we put pictures of...
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
And check those answers. All right, let me just stop the audio here and then we'll go through the answers together about this university campus tour. So, here you had to fill out a table. And a little history about the infrastructure, I guess, of the university. And so when did the university open? They mentioned this twice. Once right at the beginning. If you didn't catch it, they actually said a point about how many buildings the university started with a little bit later. Yeah, 1686. Very good. Yeah. So the tour guide said the university opened in 1686. And then later he said there's 23 buildings. Originally there were 6 or something like that is what he said, built in 1868. So he said this number twice. So you had 2 chances to catch that. 1745 to 1805, during that 60-year period, it was shut down. Nothing was going on. All right. And then between 1805 and 1815, how many more buildings were constructed? There are 23 buildings total, and how many of those were constructed in these 10 years? It's not 23. 23 is the total number, okay? So the man says there's 23 buildings in all. 12 of them, 12 of them. So 12 buildings were constructed. It says a dozen. The exact word used is dozen buildings. So 12, okay, for number 12, 12 for 12. In the past, how many years? 7 more buildings were added. In the past, how many years? Past 10 years. That's right, Sammy. Very good. So in the past 10 years, I think they might have said in the past decade, 7 more buildings. So 7 plus 12 is 19. 23 minus 19 is 4. So 4 buildings. Originally in 1868, right? That's how I can figure out that number. So, okay. You can put 12 or a dozen. Both are okay. It's the same number. Okay, it's just 2 different ways to say it. 12, a dozen. The easiest is the number, okay? I recommend using this because it's the easiest. Writing dozen, if you make a spelling mistake, it's tricky. All right, and then the tour guide talks about the first building of the university. And the first building of the university has kind of an interesting shape, he says. Which one is the shape of that building, A, B, or C? Yeah, B. Bonus question, what are these circles? So let's see how many of you are really paying attention. Okay, so yeah, he says it's about 50 or something feet long while only 8 feet wide or 10 feet wide or something. And then he talks about these little circles here. What are those circles in the corners? Yeah, they're bells. Very good. In fact, they're bell towers, to be even more specific. They're bell towers, which each house a bell. Okay, 4 bell towers that each house a bell. Okay, so not just bells, but bell towers. Okay, so if I visualize it, they look something like this. All right, with a bell up at the top. Okay, so each of them would look something like that. Okay, yeah, bell tower. Ding dong. Okay, cool. So visualize, okay? And they don't work. That's right. Brown says they don't work anymore, but they're bell towers. Okay, and then for number 15, how many years ago were the Persian carpets donated? It's an old university. Avatar, we just did the listening. We just heard the audio for this. That's where the answers are coming from. Okay, so how many years ago were the Persian carpets donated? Yeah, very good, Onisim. Very good, Sammy. 150 years ago. All you need here is the number, okay? It says no more than 2 words, but you don't need that because you have how many years ago. You have the years ago in the question, so we know it's 150 years ago because you're answering this question. If it were how long ago, then you would write 150 years. Okay, because how long ago, and you write 150 days, months, no, years. Okay, so the question and the answer have to be very clear when they're together. Okay, here it's just 150 is enough. All right. Let's keep moving. So good news. There's a pub not too far from the university. That pub gives a discount for students. What's the discount? Okay, so what discount do students receive at the local pub which was donated by one of the students? It sounds like it's a non-profit pub, just there to have some fun. A, B, or C? Yeah, make sure you choose the letter, not the number. A is correct, 30%. Yeah, 40, that's almost like free beer. 3%, that's just kind of a punch in the face. So A, 30% is the right answer. Logic can help you there. Cool. Now we have this summary completion. Okay, so let's complete this summary. Here we go. In front of the library, there is a beautiful what? So here you had to write the correct words. You had to pay attention to spelling, catch these words. They're not going to be really tricky words. They're going to be common kinds of words. Smith and Jas all agree that it's a fountain. Okay. Yeah, fountain. Inside the library, the ground floor has how many books? Yeah, very good. It's a fountain. You can write all capital letters. How many books has... Sundar Singh says no books. Divyam says no. Yeah, maybe water damage. They're afraid of that. So no books. The upper floors, however, house over 3 million books. The collection was built by donations, gifts, and university purchases. Additionally, there is a something area. This was probably the most difficult question of part 3. So if you got number 19, good for you. Brown, very close, almost. Irfana, close. Carolina, close. Yeah, this was a really tricky one. It's kind of fishing for that band 9. It's a special collections. That's the tricky part, is the S. It's called a special collections area because they have multiple collections, like a collection of history, a collection of religion, a collection of anthropology. So it's a special collections. Believe it or not, the word collection is countable. And here it's a special collections area. So it's not just one collection, but it's multiple collections. And you do have to get that S in this one to get that point. Again, band 9, that's the highest level. It's basically an English professor that they're looking for there. Okay, there are many sporting facilities, including the rugby field, which is home to the rugby team, which has won 3 of the past 5 what? Yeah, Brown, even if you didn't hear it, if you have really high level of English, you know that it's called a special collections area. Like if I go into a library and I know that I'm looking for a very unique book, I would say, do you guys have a special collections area with books from the 1500s? Okay. Yeah, so here, national championships. Yeah, national championships. So you can write that in capital letters because it is the name of the tournament. Okay, so national championships. If you write it small letter, they'll take that too. If you write it all capital, it's fine as well. Okay, it's arguable. So national championships. National championships. All right. Students, count up your score. Okay. What did you get in part 1 and part 2 combined? So how did you get out of 20? This is for part 1 plus part 2. What did you get out of 20? Your goal should be at the very lowest end 16. So it should be 16 or more. Okay. You shouldn't be losing more than another 3 marks here. So 16, Sundar Singh is good. All right. Surya 17 is absolutely acceptable. Nikhil 19 is fantastic. All right. Brown 16 is all good. Okay, yeah, so 16, 17 at this point, you're on the right track, everyone. You're on the right track. Okay, super. I'm proud of you. Thanks for hanging in there. That is it for this class, but not to worry. Tomorrow, I will be back with Listening Like a Pro to part 3 and part 4. So we'll do part 3, part 4 tomorrow at the exact same time as this class. So come back for that, and then you can get an idea of your whole listening section for the IELTS exam, okay? So I'll give you some more tips and strategies for those more challenging parts, and we'll talk more English at that time. If you like this lesson and you want some HD videos with clear picture and sound, lots of them on our website, aehelp.com for academic, glshelp.com for general. All you have to do is click the big red button to join the premium packages there. So highly advise you to spend a couple dollars and do that. You're very welcome, everyone. I'm Adrian signing out from Central Europe for now. Hopefully I'll catch you all tomorrow. Take care. Much love to all of you. Bye.